Alright, booster box buyouts continue. Paradox Rift and Surging Sparks demand doubles, and Paradox hits $400. And we get to see the aftermath of some of the Sword and Shield ones. For example, Lost Origin actually maintains its $900 price points. Um, and it just maintained its new high. We'll see if it really maintains even longer. Paradox Rift, you see the buyout over here. 80 boxes sold. Half of the Paradox demand. Like if I don't remember exactly how much there was yesterday, but if I assume like the total was 81 plus 88. That's about half of the supply sold on the market. And you see the buyout went a little more aggressive. It went up until $400. So Paradox probably was like up to about $400 box some points. And if people listed some lower prices, they see 345, 360. It's always interesting to see where the prices kind of level at. But yeah, that's where Paradox is right now. It's up. It's finally a $300 booster box, kind of closer to where it deserves, to be honest, considering it's such an old box. But it's going to reach there eventually. Right now, all the booster boxes are so expensive that it just kind of makes sense. Like the minimum booster box price is $250. That's only SC base and Journey together. But everything else, it's like, I guess it's probably like $260 to $270 now. If we look at the prices, like Temporal Forces went to a new high today of $266. Stellar Crown is about 260, about 270. And the Vivid Voltage and Battle Cells, like if you don't really count, I guess Vivid Voltage is already 260. So the minimum booster box price is about 260, 270 right now. If we don't exclude like some of the really cheap boxes. So yeah, it's at the point where it's like, hey, if all booster boxes that price, are all booster boxes equally valued? And what's gonna happen with new releases, especially with Pokemon bringing out the really good sets of Mega and Phantasmal Flames, they just look really good. But yeah, this is continuing the sets. If you don't know the ordering, I think what happened was, I remember Silver Tempest Lost Origin, they had a big buyouts. And now we're seeing things like Paradox and Surging Sparks over here. You see sold 19 today. Didn't really affect the price as much, but before it was selling about 6 or 7 per day. It rose higher and then like demand kind of dropped a little bit. But the price is still about the same, unfortunately. I'm not really sure exactly where the supply came from, because I see over here some at 293 sold and 2 at 308 sold. So maybe some cheaper boxes appeared. I don't really know. Otherwise, we're kind of in the same place for Surging Sparks. For Paradox Rift, I think it will maintain some of its price points. Honestly, like if you just look at the sales or the listings, like most of the sellers would want to sell for about 360, 370 over here. There's only these cheaper sellers, so we'll see where the price kind of levels out. With Lost Origin, what happened was someone, I think they listed, because I don't see any sales from yesterday, and there was like one box for about $800. And then for the rest of Scarlet Violet, yeah, Temporal Forces reaches new high 265. They didn't even take that many boxes, sold 3. It's been around that range for a while, but just people bought the last few boxes. Hopefully it reaches 270 soon, because that's kind of where it's been going to. But there's still a bunch of boxes that can be bought out to at least raise the price to some extent. For Temporal, it could probably, I guess, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get to next $100 price points. This Paradox one was a little more aggressive because they'd have to pay quite a bit more. Like you see over here, they bought around 270, up to about 270 to 300 is pretty comfortable. It's like, okay, I can pay that much extra for Paradox. The ones around 320 are okay-ish, and then the ones around 350 to 400, those are definitely like a little above how much you want to pay, but if you average it out, it's kind of fine. But yeah, Temporal isn't as susceptible to buyouts. I mean, if you bought a lot, sure, but there's quite a bit of quantity hovering around the same price. Twilight is could pretty easily rise. I mean, most rise hasn't risen yet. It only takes 2 boxes to reach 2 or 3 boxes to reach like 340, 350, and there's very little supply up until like, I guess Train Car World has these. So getting it to a really high price would be kind of difficult Train Car World, but otherwise like Train Car World tends to troll people. If the supply does get bought up before it will delist and either raise its price or something. So but Twilight Masquerade demand has dropped 0 sold yesterday, 1 sold today. Stellar Crown still around 270, sold 3 yesterday. This one, yeah, there's most of the sales only at 1, except this one at 5 over here. Stellar Crown tends to rise a little slower, but we're in the period of buyouts, so we'll see what happens. SE base, demand's been like slowly rising. Like every other day, it's been selling a little bit more. So you see, yesterday sold five. You see like three here, four here, now five here. Supply is kind of about the same. Like it's trying to break like 250s. I could make a jump to 260 over here, but there's quite a bit of supply until then. Paldea drops about $10. There's a seller over here, with a cheaper one. If this follows the same pattern as last time, yeah, you'll see some sales. You'll see Paldea dip a little bit before. That's the time to buy, and then it'll just like rise a lot after that. That was the pattern last time. We'll see if it continues. I wonder if you can see in the graph. Um, like you saw, I think this was like the dip. Like this was the high, 360, 370. It dipped to like 346, and it rose suddenly after that. So I hope it might happen again. Who knows? Um, and then for Obsidian Flame, just no one's been buying for the last couple of days. Not a sale since September 20th. As I said before in other videos, the first three sets of Scarlet Violet are having the least amount of activity. All the rest of them are having more activity. You're seeing, so yeah, Paldea down 10, Obsidian Flames down 10, down $1. Paradox Ridge rises $36, but probably a little more than that. Shadow Forces new high, up 7, and then Stellar Crown Surging drop $1 each. All right, Sword and Shield. So I covered a little bit during the buyout section for Scarlet Violets. I'll go over Astral Reigns first. Astral Reigns rises to 435. I think it's been here before. If people bought some of the cheaper boxes, and it was kind of a logical sort of move. We're doing a bunch of buyouts. People are doing a bunch of buyouts, so it wouldn't be surprising if Astral Reigns does rise to 500 pretty quickly. It's very easy for a bout to happen for this. It's kind of one of the most boxes prone to this. Like there's not a lot of supply. All these cells only have one. It's very easy to make this go to $500. And so if you want to get in a safe price, yeah, you would have bought the ones below 435 because that was the previous high. You see them bought for around $400 each. Lost Origin I mentioned before. It's interesting. Yeah, I saw one box for like about 800. That's gone. I don't see any sales though. Now all the sellers are hovering around 900. We'll see how well it maintains this. With Lost Origin, honestly, if you really wanted to, you can make it go to like 950 pretty easily. Even to 1,000. Lost Origin still has a great price ladder because all the sellers only have one box over here. So you're seeing like really like the effects of like supply shortages and stuff for these boxes. Like Lost Origin, I didn't realize, but it has a really good price ladder at the moment. Silver Tempest was also bought the other day. 18 sold, and it just kind of maintains price point at about 590. Nothing really interesting. So we just like flush out some of the supply for Silver Tempest. It's usually a slower box to rise. It would take a few more boxes to rise past like 600. But yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. Oh, but it's nice that even at 600 right now. For Brilliant Stars, no box sold since the buyouts on December 21st or 7 bots. And you're seeing it resume back to kind of normal activity where a lot of the boxes are around 560. And then it goes back to 600 very quickly. Fusion Strike, unfortunately, the demand rose, or supply rose. There's been no sales since the buyout on September 21st. We're 4 sold, and on that day, I saw like the number of boxes below 100 kind of halved to about 6. Now I think it actually rose to a little more than 10. I think it was like 14 or something. Kind of up again. This is 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. 13, yeah, 14 boxes until 1100. So yeah, Fusion Strike is getting a little worse in terms of getting to the next price point. Of all these guys are really cheap right now. There's a really cheap seller over here. It looks like they have really good feedback and sales. So yeah, just quite a cheap box. Usually is around 2,700. It says like $100 off. And then Chilling Rain just, yeah, it finally had some sales a few days ago, but really it hasn't had many sales at all since September 10th. It still somewhat maintains its price point at 560. I'm just gonna look at the Sword Shield prices really quickly. See, like Silver Tempest is now at 590. And at these price points, yeah, Astral Reigns is still really cheap. Brilliant Stars and Chilling Rain are around the same price. So those are like kind of the decent sets that are still kind of cheap as well. And so yeah, they're kind of obvious plays like Astral Reigns, Brilliant Stars, and Chilling Rain. Like they're still like quite decent sets to get. For the rest of Sword Shield, Rebel Clash has been getting a lot of sales lately. Like relative to Rebel Clash, usually there's like so like little sales. And you see two sold yesterday, one sold the day before that, and then like one sold a week ago. That's like really, it's a lot for Rebel Clash. It's always had like this big price ladder, but there's a little supply. So usually people don't buy it out just because it's not really the best in the world. It's just so expensive because it's so scarce. But yeah, there are just two boxes here, under 500, and it goes to 600 pretty quickly. Battle Styles drops. It's been around 300 for a while. Now it dropped to 285. So yeah, just not as much activity. You couldn't really maintain it. People bought battle styles. A lot of it because Sword and Shield is still rising, and it still maintains a lot of its gains. But yeah, it has been pretty stagnant. Sword and Shield base, no recent sales. Darkness Ablaze, no recent sales. It's been slowing down a lot lately. And then Vivid Voltage, no sales for like 2 days. Still around 257. As far as price changes go, yeah, Lost Origin, since I did see that one cheaper box, technically up 95 from yesterday. Astral Radiance up 35. British Stars was a cheaper box, and it rose back to 560, so it's up 33. And then yeah, all these guys about $100 on sale, down $94. All right, celebrations. Demand doubles in the last week. So in the last week, it's been selling about one a day, or one or less a day, pretty much, but most one. Last couple of days, two sold yesterday, three sold the day before, and there's been 3 consecutive days of sales, so just a lot more over the last week. In the last week before that, I guess it sold like 3 boxes. Um, yeah, with like a lot of breaks in between. PCTB is still around the same price, but I know people do look at PCTBs. Like the ETBs get kind of the most traction. PCTBs because they're PCTBs, the ETBs just because they're kind of the main obvious thing to get for specialty sets. They're usually quite affordable. They're not like a really specialty thing like a UPC, but everyone ETBs are more relatively liquid than other things like collection boxes or whatever. Yeah, ETB demand is still pretty stable. Sells every day. And some days it goes up to 2, and you see some random spikes like I see 8 here, 7 here, and 5 here. Prices are, I think they rose to 260. They were more toward like 250 before this. Maybe we'll finally see a rise. But yeah, they're a lot cheaper boxes have been bought out. UPCs are around 925 now. Yeah, these were heading toward $1,000, and yeah, now there's like they're pretty far away from that. They had a recent sale September 22nd, but yeah, ever since September 3rd, there hasn't been like a lot of sales. Collector chest 145 sold 2 yesterday, and yeah, they're heading toward 150 or 155. Packs sold, not really many packs yesterday. I see like barely one or whatever sold. Millington displays, they sold one yesterday. These have been getting more sales lately, so out of like the other items, these have been getting a little more traction. These figure collections have been getting no traction since September 8th, and then these prime things sold one the other day, but yeah, not a lot of sales. That wraps things up for this video. I hope you walked away with a better understanding of the market. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more deep dives in the Pokemon market. Tell me what's the next big investment you're considering in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all later.